Hey everybody, how's it going out there? My name is FQAuthDeveloper and I make apps on stream for your education or pleasure. And here we are. Today we're working on FQAuth. There's a feature I wanted to add to it as I'm starting to use it on some projects. And one thing that I need is an admin user. So that's something that I wanted to see if we could do today. And we'll be thinking about all this mostly live because I haven't really written a design document for it yet. I think the way that it's going to be consumed is on this session token. We can have additional roles, just kind of sketching out as like an array of strings perhaps, and then folks can have their own roles that they have their own enums for, and they can have roles like admin or subscriber, or admin and subscriber, or maybe like super subscriber. I don't know, whatever kind of roles that that people want. And so I guess I think this is what I want to do, and let's see if the compiler will sort of tell us what we need to do next. Yeah, we have two errors, return from initializer without initializing all stored properties. So we'll just follow the train. And we have another one over, oh, this is right here. I think you're a little confused, Xcode. Let's try Command B one more time. Yeah, Xcode's been doing this thing where it doesn't show the error after a build failed. And that is, I'm not gonna lie, pretty annoying. Here we go. Then we'll continue to let the compiler kind of tell us where we need to go. We'll sort of play at the compiler speed, hitting Command B twice. So this is when we're doing a login, and I guess we don't have the roles on here. Yeah, I guess these need to be stored on the user. So we'll keep letting the compiler tell us. We'll say, yes, we need the roles here. And should the refresh token, does the refresh token need the roles? I guess not, right? Well, if it needs it, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. And we'll hit Command B twice because I don't know why Xcode does this these days. so where are we going to get this from? So this is on sign in. So do we have the user here? We do. And I think that's where we want to store the roles. Perhaps we'll have admin as a special role, but I think we can get what we need to do with roles being strings. Please show me the error Xcode. Okay, let's hit Command B one more time. So here, this should be coming off of the user. And we have the user here, so we can just say user model.roles. Same thing here, user model.roles. And we'll keep following the compiler. This is sign up. So for sign up, we only get the user ID. And I guess if they signed up, then I guess their roles will be empty to start. Build succeeded. Okay. Let's try to put some tests on this. This is not Apple. This is not refresh token. This is just our own stuff. Oops, did not mean to put it there. There we go. Yeah, I think our current sign-in tests are, yeah, they're here under Apple. Yeah, maybe it's not a separate folder since, yeah, currently we don't support login outside of Apple sign-in. And yeah, so let's see, sign-in request tests. So let's run this, and we should get some errors. So this is not the test I was expecting to fail first, but here we are nonetheless. And this is, what are we doing in this test? Test authorized token is valid, test empty header. Okay. Let's hit Command U again. Try to run these tests. Build succeeded, that's a good start. And we have some failures. Yep, so this is, we didn't add the roles column to the database. So that's something that we want to do. So let's go to the migrations. That's a little too far. And we can start by kind of copying what we have here. There it is. And I don't think I need this here. Elder declaration, yes. So let's get the name. We have our configure migration, so we can add this to the end here. And oh yeah, we need a closing curly. So I don't remember how to alter a table off the top of my head. I think it's something like, where's caps lock? There we go. Oh, I want this to be a multi-line string for sure. And let's see, so not create, alter table, user, add column. I need to look this up. Postgres. Let's see, not rename, not set table space. Here we go, add column, column name data type. Okay. So this will be roles, and the data type will be, I believe Postgres has an array. We get to another section. SQL commands. I think it's in part 8. Yeah, data types. In the worst case, we can make it JSON. Oh, here we go. Here's arrays. So it looks like we can do a text array. And I'm not sure if I need to say not null here because it could be empty, right? I think that's fine. Oh, text and then array. Okay, we could try that. I think that looks a little bit nicer than the square braces. And then, of course, for the down, we need and I guess this is all on one line, so we can remove the multi-line bit. And I think it's like drop column. Roles. Okay, so let's come back to the tests. And let's see, where's a failing one? Oh, we lost the information about which ones were failing. I think this one was a failing test due to the migration missing. Cannot convert PostgreSQL data to an array of strings. Okay, let's look at the what's the word? Documentation. I might have to jump straight to the code, actually. See, not Vapor, it's going to be Fluent Postgres driver. Check the sources for, I think it's here. Huh, I don't see array here. Ooh, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, we have array. Oh, but it wants to be a JSON B. Array of let type. Is there a way I can control this in my model? Let's see, let's head over to close some of these open things. Do I get to say the data type on here? Maybe I'll search for where this is used. Perhaps all over. See, I do not see it. Oh, here we go. Here's where it's called. Trying to serialize. Is this just SQL kit? Oh, so it tries to get a custom data type for self. And self is this thing. Oh, maybe we can say custom and SQL expression. Okay. So where do I say the SQL data type? Looks like it's this thing. Do we see something that looks like a data type on here? I search for serialize. I know this is going to be all over the world. Maybe let's search for custom. Okay, so this is for a database query, not exactly for a key though. And it can have an any on it. This is a query converter. Hey, Bruce Leaf, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well out there. We are currently trying to figure out how we can do Postgres arrays in Fluent. So we're kind of doing a deep dive into the source code. Because I do see an array here. But I can't quite figure out where do I store this custom data type on my model. So we're adding, the goal is to add roles, sort of like admin or subscriber. If I just start typing, not really getting any autocomplete help here. It with field key. Prefix, string, aggregate. Am I supposed to do the input value? Although these are not public. Where did these get set from? These are just nil. And there's no way to set them? Where's this self.value coming from? Build property. Oh, it's on an extension. Self.input value. And does input value have... How might I set this input value? Value of anything codable? Let's see. I need just like a little bit of explanation, and I'm pretty sure the docs are not going to have it, but let's take a peek. It's a very simple example. No, none of that stuff. Maybe field? Field and optional field. Yeah, that's not that. That is not that helpful. Soft delete, enum, raw enum group. Nested group of fields, not necessarily. And then we're off to different topics. Yeah, so we're not really seeing it. Bruce Leaf says, wait, are you trying to have an array of strings, an array of IDs for some other DB table? Just an array of strings. In Postgres, we can have an array of strings or a 2D array of strings, and I guess that's what I'm trying to get Fluent to play nicely with. It's going to be the list of roles that a user has. For example, admin, subscriber, admin and subscriber, or something like that. And they're going to be, I guess, stringly typed, so that folks that use FQAuth can just use whatever roles they want. Since they all get passed around in a JWT anyway, it's basically stringly typed all the way down to some extent. And let's see, we also found in the Postgres driver, we found this thing which has an array on it. Bruce Leaf says, I might be missing something. I have used @field and string before. And he types in chat basically exactly what I have. And yeah, let's go ahead and put these on the same line. So I'm like looking at your message in the chat, and I don't see a difference between what you have and what I have. So there is an SQL converter delegate, and this is used what does the migration look like? Let's see, add roles to user migration. We're just using it, or just creating a Postgres array. Can also be done like this. Either way, they should be equivalent. So it's used here, and this is also used SQL scheme converter. Let's see, so where is this data type used? Let's look for calls to it. Definition, field definition. This is a update. Database schema. I think this is not exactly what I'm looking for. Bruce Leaf says, oh, okay, just use fluent migrations, not pure SQL. Dot array of dot string. I wonder what that looks like in your database. I imagine it, or I hope it looks exactly the same. Although it might be a JSON. Ooh, we have a link. Let's go ahead and click that link. Yeah, links and tags dot array of string. So this is how I guess we could do it in pure yeah, I guess we could try copying this out. And just seeing what it looks like in the database. Let's see, so this would be I think this would just be a regular migration. So let's comment this out. Let's say, I think it's prepare on database. So this would be, and let's copy from, Bruce Lee says, sorry, not the best with pure SQL. I don't like how it yells at me. I mean, I guess that's how I feel about Fluent sometimes. Okay, so let's try this. Is there a dot update? There is. This would be user model.schema. And And I think we can just remove this bit here. Oh, we need a revert. How do we remove a column in this game? Perhaps like that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and run the test that was failing. It was just failing on an insert. So let's go to the test. I think this test was failing on us. So we should get the failure again. Cannot drop table user. So I guess this is deleting the whole schema, not just the field. So is there a way to just alter the table? Oh, here we go, delete field. So this should do it. Let's come. Let's come back to the test and see how we're doing. Rather building. This is quite a bit of building just for that one change. We're almost there a moment ago. $10.37, $10.56, $10.85, $1,142, 1166. Here we go. Build succeeded. Okay. Testing. So we got the same error as before. So, yeah, what am I doing differently than what you might be doing? App, models, user. Yeah, it looks exactly the same to me. Let's see, am I doing, what am I doing? Sign with Apple model, user. Yeah, this is all fluent, so I'm not doing anything too exciting here. I know, and some of these I do straight SQL because it was a little bit more straightforward, but this is straight fluent, so it should be playing nicely. This looks the same. field roles string. Yeah, we could copy it in again. I don't think we need to add this to the initializer, but we could see if it helps. Let's Bruce Leaf asks, what line is throwing the error? I will tell you. I will tell you right away. Where is my test? Invalid field. It's on, I guess, line 36 of consent revoke job test. Run it again. Yep, same problem. Cannot convert PostgreSQL data to an array of strings. Which is funny. I'm using exact same stuff that Bruce Leaf in the chat is using, and it's not quite working. Let's see, what's the role here? I think it's FQAuth. Database does not exist. Test. Did you run the migrations? Yeah, every test, when we set up, we reset the database, which means auto revert and then auto migrate. And I guess we're right here in the in Postgres, and we can see that we have roles and it's of type text. So this is exactly what I had in what's the word? Exactly what I had in my straight SQL version. So it's there. I feel you though. I'm also, as you said, a little sus of everything. See, is there a different test that's just on like creating a user perhaps? These are all have to do with signing with Apple. I mean, it's not failing. Let's see. Let's run this one. So we're making a user up here. Wait, this one passed. This one, what? This one passed and the other ones didn't. So what is create test user doing? Oh, it's not trying to save a role, I guess. Oh, and it's using straight SQL and not Fluent is the other thing that's happening. Again, because we're doing a sign up, we'll start off with 0 roles. Okay, at least we have something to tug on now. Let's put in a role called test, I guess. And sample, it can do both. Where was that test? No, not you. Yeah, this one. Oh, we have a few more folks that are not compiling. And another one down here. Build succeeded. Okay. Let's just go ahead and run this one. So it seems to be when we load it. Okay, what is my user model find doing? This is a this is straight up Fluent. Let's see. I guess it's because I didn't create it using Fluent. That might be an issue. So we'll increment these each by 1. So after the registration method, we'll say params.roles. Am I supposed to default it to, well, I mean, I'm creating it with the Fluent migration, so this should play very nicely with Fluent. Cannot convert value of type string to element of type string. Okay, so I guess I kind of need to do that. I brought this on myself. I need to do we're dealing with is a character for the type. I'll use a comma. So this is going to be curly brace plus params.roles dot joined with a comma plus a closing curly, and we'll pass those in here. Oh, do I need this has single quotes around it. Oh, and these all have quotes around it as well? Sometimes with both rows you have to give the type. Like here we say this is a user registration. So let's map these. And this is getting to be a long line, so let's split it up. Oh, I didn't put, there we go. Let's put one test roll in there. Expression is of type text. But I'm doing the conversion for you, dude. Maybe one, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is right here. Five, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. That's selecting, which we're not doing quite yet, but that will be useful for later. We can select all that have a certain role. One of the reasons why I want to use this feature. So it's a single quote. Let's see, where's just an insert example. Yeah, single quote, open curly, joined by commas, and this is the two-dimensional one. I guess we can try inserting into here kind of directly. And that might help us write our query. So we can leave ID blank because that's that has a default. So I guess we'll say first name. Last name will go with Ali. Status has a default. Registration method. So this should be sign in with Apple. Created that, and then we have roles and this should be, it looks like, oh, these are supposed to be single quoted. I'll type for UUID. Oh, I need to say the column names. First name, last name, registration method, and roles. So then we can select star from user. Oh, from the table user. And we can see that the role is in there, so this is correct. This is correct. We can make another one. Yeah, and that's in there as well. Okay, so like it's working in straight SQL. So what is wrong with what I'm doing? I guess we could put like a breakpoint there and see what this is. Because we're separating by comma. It has quotes around the string and curly braces around the outside. So that looks kind of right to me. That looks right. That's exactly what I typed in. So, so what's the deal? Maybe because it's a substitution or something. You just stick it in line, I guess. Let the test fail. Yeah, okay. Syntax error at or near returning. Okay, well, it's a different error. Oh, yeah, I'm missing the close. Okay, so that's not that exciting that we got a different error. That was just a typo on my part. Test succeeded. Fascinating. Okay. So I guess we like wrote the query ourselves all the way. Hopefully we don't have to do that for the other stuff. Let's see, let's look at the, okay, everything's kind of greenish now. So I guess they were failing because I used this repo to insert test data, and I guess since that was going wrong, you got some FQ successes in the chat. Thank you. Since that was going wrong, all the other test data was looking weird, so that was going off too. That's my theory. We don't need to print anymore. So I guess using it as a binding was not helping. Well, let's see. Let's put this on a branch commit, and then I kind of want to poke at this just a little bit more. Let's see. Call this feature add roles. Adding roles as an array of strings. Oh, and of course we can push that up in case folks want to follow along. This is all on my GitHub. Yeah, so I do want to try to get this in as a binding. I'm not exactly sure why I want to do that. I think just because I want to understand how bindings work, I guess. With this, like, what if we take off the outer quote? No, I guess it's treating everything in the binding as a text. How do I make it treated as an array? Is there anything in here? Oh, here, input and output syntax. Ah, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So glad we didn't shy away. We are going to learn something. And does binds have to be an array of strings? See, let's look at SQL raw. Just as long as it's encodable. Whoa, okay, so it might encode it for me. Encodable. I guess I'm changing two things at the same time there, which is maybe not the way. But let's try it out. Test succeeded. Okay. And I guess let's do an assert on the roles. Oh, can I do it as a set? That might be too spicy. So for now, let's just use contains. Okay. And if we just put some garbage in there, do we get a failure? I mean, I know we should, but it's always, maybe always is too strong. It's often very good to confirm you have a failing test. Why did these fail? Okay. Not sure how putting garbage in there made everything else kind of fail, but okay, so let's see how else we can poke at this. So instead of converting it to a string ourselves, since this can be encodable, I would like to try params.roles. That's so cool. Yeah, so what was missing was we had to do colon, colon, and then the type. And then that will make it expect that type. Otherwise, it tries to infer, and I guess as you saw, it could get it wrong. It'll think that it's text. Okay, that is so cool. And Postgres always amazes me, never ceases to amaze me. So then, yeah, can we make that a set? That might be too spicy, but I am so curious. Now everything else in the world needs to be updated. Okay, I guess that change is gonna be rippling through, huh? Creekburn asks, welcome to the community, by the way. Why not normalize and have roles in a separate table? The main reason is that this is supposed to be a reusable software. I just want it to be a couple strings that people can use, like configured on your own, like admin subscriber, admin subscriber. In the JWT that folks use, auth JWT, it's just an array of strings. And even if we put like a type to it, it's still kind of just an array of strings. Which I guess if we were writing our own, like if we were forking this repo to run it in our own server, we could certainly do that. But if we're kind of use it, or I guess we are providing it as something to use, I think stringly typed roles are a good place to start, to get people started without having to fork anything. And I guess secondly, but this is just auth. This isn't doing anything with those roles. Like this server is just authenticating that you're in the database, you have an account with Apple, since we're only doing sign in with Apple for now. It's just authenticating you're in the database and giving you an auth token. It's not doing anything with the roles. It really is just a string, just an array of strings for the purposes of the FQAuth project. So that's the two-part answer there. Thanks for the question. And I guess let's hit Command U. All right, I was committing. Send that upstairs. Yeah, so Postgres has arrays. Does it have sets, or is that too much to ask? Arrays, composite types, range types, domain types. So user-defined data type that is based on another underlying type. I guess the set would be like another table. And then folks could insert into a roles table. Creekburn suggests roles as a string makes some sense to me. Just thinking about the feature that could use a table of roles, such as what are all available supported roles? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think that it's still doable. We would say, oh, I guess it wouldn't be all supported though, because you could have a supported role and no one's in that role right now. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That is a good point. And I guess that only changes, I think, that only changes the underlying Postgres model. I don't think it affects the JWT. I guess I'm trying to decide whether to go forward with your suggestion or put it on the back burner as a enhancement for later. Creekburn asks, there may also be some considerations for role-based access control so that fine-grained access could be controlled by permissions, while roles would be a collection of permissions. So that fine-grained access could be controlled by permissions, while roles would be a collection of permissions. Yeah, I mean, I use that in my Kubernetes cluster, but I don't exactly know the specifics of it, of role-based access control versus access control list and all bastards are cops, I guess, is what ABAC stands for. Creekburn asks, I've been working with the provider Auth0 a lot lately, and they use scopes as permissions. I have ways to return roles in the JWT. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that might be, those are great suggestions for going forward. And I'm not sure if I want to switch gears right in the middle of the stream though. But if that's something that you would like to add, like please submit a pull request. GitHub.com FQDeveloper FQAuth. If you would like to contribute. Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons with any kind of approach here. Bruce Leaf echoes pull request or make an issue with all the details. Yeah, that'd be great. I really appreciate the suggestions, though. I confess I'm not an expert in security. I'm perhaps intermediate or something like that. So I'm certainly open to suggestions. That's definitely one of the reasons why I'm making this open source. let's see. So we have roles in the database with potentially stored as a separate table. And I guess I'm kind of interested in how we're going to use them. I mean, I guess I kind of started at the bottom of I want roles in the auth token, and that drove us all the way down to the database, kind of as expected. It's one of the nice things of using a typed language is the compiler tells you where you're missing something. Creekburn says, the past 10 minutes are my first exposure to this project. Welcome. So I am not sure what your goals are. Auth has been an interest of mine, so I've dug a bit deep in some of these things. Oh, cool. Yeah, I can go over the goals. I want something that's easy to deploy for, I guess, indie app developers. Kind of as a microservice that you can put in your Kubernetes cluster or on like something like a Heroku free tier if something comes around. It's for people that are interested in writing their own Swift code on the server. If you're not interested in Swift, you probably want to use something like Auth0 or Firebase. But if you are interested in having your own database of users, then there's, as far as I know, no off-the-shelf stuff in in Swift. So this is something I'm planning to use on a few of my future projects, and I thought making it open source would be great to get feedback on for people that are more experts than myself, such as yourself. And I mean, I love open source. I certainly have a bunch of closed source stuff as well, and I think this was something that I could share. And so people like me who want to do a little bit of their own DevOps, they would have something to use. In our deploy section, we have a starter for Heroku and a starter for Kubernetes. Yeah, so I guess to sum up my goal, something that's easy to deploy for myself and for others who care about kind of having their own users. So it's a custom identity provider, says Creekburn. Kind of. It only does sign in with Apple for now. I do want to add sign in with Google, since, I mean, I also make Android apps, and I also want to do sign in with web. Right now, yeah, to start, it's only iOS sign in with Apple at the moment. Do I have a roadmap on here? Oh, I guess I don't quite have the roadmap on here. Yeah, I tried using Google projects and it was such a mess. I did not like Google. Sorry, did I say Google projects? I mean GitHub projects. They were a mess, so anything in there is... I think I deleted it. And then same thing on the iOS side. There's do I have a link to the iOS sample app? I don't. I probably should. There's a sample iOS app that kind of gets you up and running with this as part of your backend. And I'm hoping to kind of extract some stuff out of here, like the login screens and the login controller, to help get people started. since there's like a lot of stuff that you need to do, and you can customize all of it, of course. But there's a lot you need to do, and having something that's open source that you can reference, I thought would be helpful. And hopefully sort of something you can drop in and start using, which is, again, for my own apps, that's what I would want. As Mohandas Gandhi says, build the open source projects you want to see in the world. And then I also have the sample microservice to kind of show how you would use it in your own microservice. You'd have like whatever you have going on, but then you would add FQAuth as, oh, this should be trunk at this point. You'd add FQAuth as a dependency. Did I say trunk? I meant an actual version release, 0.1.1. And then you use that to, guard your, where's the routes? To guard the so accessing your random number stored in the database, you need to be signed in. That's all that this is doing. With, as you can see, very little effort to the user. We've imported it and we've set it up, and there might be a little bit of configuration. Yeah, you have to provide the private key, but since it's on your server, everybody should have the private key inside of your cluster. Yeah, using something like Auth0, I believe there's still like integration that you have to do. You still have to write your own login screens on iOS. You still have to write, as far as I know, maybe they've done stuff for you. Creekburn says, sounds like the goal is an easy-to-use client implementation that can store user info from the identity provider in a self-hosted server. Yep, you got it. You got it. That's the idea. You'll find like sample code. You'll find like tutorials for how to set up sign-in with Apple. But, tutorials kind of go not out of style. That's not the right word. They get out of date. And something that's being used, like actual running software, is something you can actually, I think, learn from. Tutorials are, of course, super helpful, but I've bumped into the rough edges of some tutorials. Okay, so we have roles on our auth token. Creekburn says OIDC/OAuth2 flows do not use custom login pages since the user is logging into the identity provider site. Yeah, I guess it's inside of the iOS app because there's a signing with Apple button that needs you can't just plop it into your app. It does need a little bit more to it, as demonstrated inside of the source code for the sample app. Does it go further back? Yeah. There's all this stuff to handle the response from Apple, and then you want to send it up to FQAuth. You want to kind of save the tokens in the keychain. You want to refresh when the access token expires, you want to get a new one using the refresh token. And I still have to finish writing the documentation for it. Yeah, I guess one possible next step would be to have an admin portal to this, so the admins can log in and, I don't know, see all the users, and all that jazz. And I'm not exactly sure what the best sort of sign up flow for that would be. Like, you sign up and then what? You default to no roles, so you'd have to add the admin role to yourself. I've seen other projects where the first person to log in gets admin, and then they turn off signups until the admin logs in and turns them back on. Bruce says, reminder to follow and join the Discord server. Thank you. I guess that would be one good way to use the roles. And of course, we can expand those to a join table later. Just have to change how, basically just change this. It would be a join instead of a field. And before we move on to the next thing, I do want to change the migration. Back to what we had earlier. It looks like this is the native way to say it in Postgres, so I'm going to go back to that. And this was a Postgres script migration. And we can run the tests. Look at those tests go. Looks like these are going to be passing. Cool. Use native Postgres for the migration. Yeah, I have a folder for web, but we don't have anything on here yet. Yeah, this will be a totally new area. So let's see. I guess we can check that off. Web. Yeah, so if we have a web portal, then we would need to support sign in with Apple on the web, which is certainly something that we want to do. That is one of the goals of this project, for cross-platform apps that are Android, iOS, and web. Routes builder. Oh, give me the autocomplete. Come on. Oh, it's routes collection. That's why. No? What is it? No, it's not. I know it's not routes command. Oh, there we go. So in the routes, register the collection we just made. How can you not find it? It's right here. Oh, I put try instead of let. Okay. Yeah, I guess there's going to be two kinds. There's going to be sort of web login and the web portal. And I guess we can kind of also sketch out the sort of the admin web controller too. It's kind of going to go along with all this, kind of what I'm driving towards. Oh, I need to import Vapor. Here we go. Well, we won't do anything here quite yet, but we will add it to our routes. Yeah, I guess we don't actually want to. Yeah, because we have all the API stuff under /API. All the web stuff doesn't have to be under /web. We can just have it here. Call can throw. And here we will need our guard middleware. So here I think we can say is that how we do middleware in this game? Okay, well, let's not do you quite yet. String does not conform to middleware. Let's see, I guess I have exactly how to do this. We just looked at it on stream a few moments ago. Let's go to the sample microservice. Let's go to the, I didn't put it in configure, I put it in inside here. Oh, okay. So it's a group all by itself. And I guess that's one change that we might want to do. So we can say we want to make sure that it has a certain role. So I guess we'll say if it's nil, everything is allowed. Otherwise, it must make the it must have the role. And perhaps this should be a set. So we don't want to just check that it has it then, we want to actually take a peek at it. So if it doesn't have a token, then we know they're unauthorized already. So here we want to say that there's well, maybe it should be like required roles, not allowed roles. That makes more sense with it being nillable, which I know I want to do. So if there aren't any required roles, we'll just head on down the line. But then for doing actual guarding, I will use a guard clause. Let's see, so what is this? So we have a set of required roles. The token itself has some roles. So if there's at least So I guess if every required role, maybe it should be allowed roles. I don't know, I keep going back and forth on this, but I guess to keep it simple, let's start with required roles. We can always add an enhancement later. Because I guess what we're working on now is like they have to be an admin to see the admin. Even if they're a subscriber or whatever kind of role we might come up with, if they're not admin role, they're not allowed. So this is in support of what we're working on right now. So we're going to start with that. You could argue that it shouldn't be a set; it should only be one. Since that's exactly what we're doing right now, we're just checking for one role. And adding multiple required roles would be an enhancement. Alex says, hello, hello. How are you doing, dude? Hope you're feeling rested. And I suppose we should write a test for this, huh? That'll help us clean this up. Much more rested today, says Alex. At work, of course. Can't argue there. That's the best place to rest. Alex says, going to be setting up on fly.io for the Vapor app. And then once that's set up, FQAuth. Oh, right on. I'm so excited. Yeah, my use case for this is just a little bit out of reach. I'm not quite ready to deploy this yet, but I'm like, every day it feels like it's so close. I think you know that feeling where we're almost there and not quite. But I'm very excited to answer any questions and help any way I can, because I am very excited about having this. Cool. So how do I use this test again? So I have a private key, I have a user ID, I have an authorized token. And do I use the middleware in here at all? This is a middleware test and it doesn't use the middleware? Oh, I think I set it up. Yeah, over here. Okay. So we can say admin only. We can say required role is admin. And let's see, required role. Yeah, so if I do this with the authorized token, this should fail. And what is your problem? Oh, it needs to be force unwrapped. Why is that? It's a force unwrap string up here. I'm not sure why I need to force unwrap it what seems like twice. But there we go. So this, when I hit up admin only, it says test completed, but I don't see any indications that it completed. Let's run it again. Oh, this is that is what I was expecting. Okay. And I think I can clean up this. Rejects users without required role. We can say accepts users with the required role. So we'll hit up admin only. The status should be okay. And what is this returning? Oh, it just returns their ID. That's fine. So this will be failing right now, I think, because it says it succeeded, but there's no green here. I really have a tough time believing you sometimes, Xcode. See, we got the unauthorized here. Okay. So we need to make an admin token. Whoa, that's new. Twitch says Halux watched 3 consecutive streams this month and sparked a watch streak. Yes, that did display for me, Halux. Did that display for you? Man, Twitch is gonna Twitch, I guess. Oh, wow. So Halux says, I love how it says only visible to you, but it's visible to you. Oh, Halux clicked share because it was interesting that I got it. Oh, maybe I only saw it after you clicked share. That's hilarious. Hopefully. Yeah, Twitch wants that user engagement, I guess. So there's the private key. How do I get a new token? Oh, we just sign one. So I'll say the roles are admin, and this should pass now. Yes, and let's run the whole file because you can never trust Xcode these days, apparently. Yay, they all passed. But it's gray. Okay, it's green now. So this is the required role for the middleware. Yeah, having like the idea of an admin user was really holding me back from deploying this. So I'm clearing the way for myself to use my own product. To clear the way for others, I know I need to write better documentation, and I'm so excited that I can answer your questions, Alex, and that's going to be the same thing as writing documentation, because then I can copy paste it out and into documentation. Cool, so we have middleware tests, and we can go back to our admin web controller. I know I did it in the configure, but I feel like the admin controller should know that it is, what am I trying to say? Yeah, I feel like opening the admin web controller and seeing that it's guarded right here is what I want to see. I don't want to have to go to a different file to check, oh, did I guard my admin web controller or not? Oh yeah, in the activity feed it says Alex shared their watch screen. Twitch is going to find ways to Twitch. Yeah, so I guess we can have maybe like a list users, I suppose. Let's see, I guess we want that there, and then what? And then list users takes a request and it returns a, let's go with a view, and we'll do async throws. If we're going to do a view, that means we need leaf, and if we need leaf, that means we need to bring that on in. Alex asked, FQAuth is deployed using Docker, right? Yeah, that's the idea. Make it a microservice that's easy to deploy. But if you want to like copy paste the code, you can do whatever you like. Alex asks, so I should use Docker to deploy my Vapor app for Fly.io. Your app, you can do whatever you want. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of a microservice model, is it doesn't even have to be on the same account. It's as long as you trust it, I suppose, and you use the same private key. The private key is shared between all the instances. That's all that matters. And you saw that private keys are not that intimidating. We had one in the test we just wrote. It's just like here's a private key. You just need to share one little bit between all your services. Alex asks, I'm not very well versed in Docker, to be honest, which is why I'm asking. I understand they use containers per se, but I'm not sure what those containers do exactly. Yeah, that's a great question. let's see how to start how to start explaining that. So I guess a Docker file is a recipe for how to make a container. And Xcode does not have syntax highlighting here. Maybe we'll open this up in Nova, which should have Docker syntax highlighting. Where is... Oh, that's the Heroku one. Docker file. This syntax highlighting isn't that great either. But I guess up here we're building. You can see Swift's build-c release. And then we have the published one using the Slim container, which doesn't have the build tools. So it's a smaller image. And then we have the worker, which runs the queues, the release, which runs the migration, and I guess the main one is web, which is what Heroku needs you to call it. But maybe that's a touch advanced. You're just asking what the hell are containers? Oh, Creekburn in the chat says a container describes the full environment for your application. These are very standardized, so just about all cloud providers have a way to run containers. Yeah, it's supposed to match what containers have done for the shipping industry. As long as your app is in a container, we can get it stuck in the Suez Canal. Like we can deploy it, we can expose ports, we can put it on a truck. And then Kubernetes is one way to, I guess, run lots of Docker containers. For example, we have the worker would be a separate container, or I guess the container is just the application, and then like kind of what you do with it is like when you deploy it. But there's 3 output containers here, and these match up for Heroku, I guess. So I have kind of a strong opinion about this, and I'm kind of curious to hear what other people say. I feel like as a solo developer, like Kubernetes is so helpful. I feel like what I hear often from other solo developers is, oh, you don't need all that. That's too much. But I feel like Kubernetes just does so much, so much for you that it's just so nice. Like you have a liveness probe here. So if your container ever falls over, every 20 seconds, Kubernetes checks if your server fell over. If it fell over, it starts it again. Like otherwise you have to write that yourself, which is what I did using like Ubuntu services, whatever they were called. Creekburn says, I haven't seen that container pattern before. Yeah, I guess it's to avoid, because if you have, say, like 5 instances of your main app and they all run auto migrate, then which one does the auto migrate? I guess having the migration as a separate container that you run kind of once is to protect that. And so so here's the service. I remember I was telling you about services the other day. So this is kind of what the outside world sees here towards FQAuth. And we just call it FQAuth app. We're going to expose port 80. That's great. And then behind the service, we have a deployment. We're just going to run with 1 replicas for now. I imagine people are going to get started with this and they can scale it up from there. Then we define the containers, which is the main app. So we're going to serve it. I say the command here. But I also say it in the Docker file. I don't remember why. Because it's the same code, so you don't necessarily need 3 separate Docker files. You can see the only thing that's adding is an expose on the port and then which command to run. Then I have I'm running the jobs, which is the queues, and I actually should run another one for the. Oh, I have a scheduled jobs one. Yeah, like I said, this isn't quite exactly finished. I don't think I need these, or maybe these should go inside of the app. I'm not gonna write YAML right now on stream. But it looks like I have a little duplication here. Is I guess what I'll say. And then the way you run it is you configure the tool is called kube control for Kubernetes control, I guess. You kind of configure it with the cluster that you're managing, and then you can just apply. Oh, this should say -f, and I guess we can just say -rf, and that'll run everything in that folder. And then we still need an ingress resource, which I haven't set up yet here. Oh, we got some text inside of the chat. Container orchestration can be overkill for a single application. In the absence of Heroku, I have a strong advocate for Kubernetes. Creekburn says, I ran into Kubernetes costs when I set up in AWS. It was about $250 a month. Yeah, I do not recommend AWS Kubernetes. The cost for one thing. Hallex asks, can the containers corrupt? I ask because if they can, I would likely have 2 containers. One for my Vapor project, the other for FQAuth. Yeah, you have the right idea there, but I feel like I'm not exactly following what you're asking. Like, I guess when you write your own Kubernetes config, you would probably have another file right next to it, and you would call it halexapp.yaml, and then you would copy paste from here. And everywhere it says FQAuth, you would say Hallex instead. And I guess the main thing that might be actually different is where the image comes from. Your image might not be public. FQAuth is open source, so it's fine to have a public image. Rickburn says there are a lot of integrity checks for containers, so basically no, they do not get corrupted. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense of what he asks, and yeah, I agree with that answer. Creekburn says, typically you only have 1 container per pod, so they can scale at different rates if your containers are designed that way. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's why I started putting the jobs outside. So yeah, you're right. This should not go here. Just go ahead and remove that. Thanks for the confirmation there. So let's go ahead and delete this. Oh, and you'd also have your own environment variables, obviously. Probably stored as secrets, not as env here. That's another thing I guess I would want to help people with. Because I guess like a Heroku database URL, for example, a DigitalOcean database URL, they have like the password in the URL. It's not something you want to just check in. That's something you might want to use a password manager for, or anything else other than putting it in GitHub. Yes, we have the app, we have the jobs, and we have the scheduled jobs. Cool. Where was I? Or does that help answer your? All right, I was explaining what a Docker container is to Halux. Is there anything else to say? Yeah, I guess Apple publishes pre-made Swift containers, and Jammy is the version of Ubuntu. You can see it's running Swift 5.7. And then, as I mentioned earlier, -slim means it doesn't have the build tools. It's a smaller image. And I think I should remove these. I think I put these in for deploying to Heroku, but I'm not sure who's going to be deploying to Heroku anymore now that they don't have a free tier. So this might be a waste of breath. In here, like we take care of all of that. I already exposed port 80 up here, and I forget if I need to put something else in here to expose port 80, but a lot of the configuration you can put it in the Docker file, or we can put it in your Kubernetes manifest, or both. The Kubernetes manifest wins if there's a conflict. And to Crickburn's last point, yeah, because of the number of replicas, like we set this to like 500 or something, we probably don't want 500 versions of the job runner running. So that's why it's kind of just one here. Sometimes I almost had multiple containers in one pod, but I ended up not. It was like a little bit of a helper to keep some data in sync for the separate instances. Like I guess maybe one somewhat contrived, but maybe not that contrived. So you could have like one reason to have multiple containers. You could have like a Redis container in here as well, so that each instance has their own copy of like an in-memory cache. I guess might be one thing. Okay, let's see. All right, so we're here in the admin controller trying to get a list of users going. And to do that, we need the getting started stuff on Leaf. Feel free to ask more Docker questions. I'm not sure if I gave a good explanation at all. Where is Xcode? Here it is. Oh, excuse me. And then we will have we have a resources folder. We can add a views. That Xcode bug always trips me up. So this can be list users.leaf, I suppose. Oh, I can just copy paste this out of somewhere. What am I doing? Let's close this. Let's head on over to Tailwind. Sure, let's get started, and let's just use this one. Should we do a full Tailwind setup? I mean, at some point, but not to get us off the ground. We'll just use it from the CDN. Oh, I guess I don't need quotation marks there. Greekburn says, Tailwind makes me sad. Oh no! PicoCSS, especially for just starting something. I am actually not familiar with PicoCSS. Let's take Pico. Minimal CSS framework for semantic HTML. Let's try to get started. Well, I guess their documentation is not as not as nice as Tailwind's, I guess. Like, what is this? What is this an example of? We're in the docs. Starter HTML template class container. I'm not so sure about this one. But let's give it a whirl. I'm always excited to try something new. List users. Okay, so let's see how it's looking. Build failed. Oh, right, we're not showing anything here. Rec.view.render. What do we call it? I think we called it admin/ list users. Call can throw, it sure can. Server started. Let's see what we got. Let's see what Pico is all about. Not found. Maybe it's slash. What did I set it to be? Oh, I didn't set up anything at all. Okay. Admin.get we will use self.listUsers. And I guess for now, let's take off the middleware so I don't have to log in. No such file or directory. Oh, because I didn't, where's configure? I have to self.view.use or views.use.leaf or something. And then import leaf. We have a leaf error, and as Bruce Leaf says in the chat, import Bruce Leaf. What did I type wrong? Extend base title. Those seem fine. Those are strings. Am I missing any colons? No. Extend base. Oh, I'm missing a one more export. And I should be able to just reload. Cool. Users go here. They sure do. Okay, that's actually not bad for Pico. That's I think like you're exactly what you said. You intentionally design your site to use semantic HTML elements. Don't use classes. Right on. How do I get some padding though? Main class container. Okay, let's try that. Okay, okay. Well, thank you for the suggestion. This looks like some fun. This looks like some fun. Alex says work Wi-Fi absolutely sucks. Like I can't do a bunch of things, says Alex. Well, we don't want you doing things at work, like working. That's not what work is for. Yeah, do what Bruce Leaf suggests. Tell them to upgrade it for you. Tell them you need it to get work done. And okay, so let's get a list of these users. So let's say user model dot query on request dot db. And we'll just pass them all in for now. Did that compile though? Oh, I have to say .all and try await. Alex says, I'm on the guest Wi-Fi. I wonder if it's better on the employee one or on the DMZ one. Do you have a DMZ at work? I don't want to know where you work. Dependency leaf not using any target. That is a problem. Did I mess up my package? No, it's there. Just Xcode is confused. Column user.roles does not exist. Oh, so we need to migrate on the dev version. Which means we have to build everything in the entire world to run the migrations. It's sometimes I like that the command line has a different context than Xcode, and sometimes, like now, I wish that that they use the same context. Thirteen 23, 13, 15 28, 16 46 out of 1686, 17 out of 1787 out of 1790. Oh, now we're stuck. Oh, we're going again. 1804 out of 1920, 21, 22, 24 out of 2298 out of 2381. Build complete. Ran the migrations. Okay. Now we got a type mismatch. Cannot convert. Oh, we fixed this. We're getting this again. I'm gonna run the tests again because I feel like we fixed this. We got Bruce Leaf saying no in chat. I appreciate the sympathy. Yeah, look, all the tests, they're passing. The tests are passing. Getting lots of green in the tests, so what is wrong with the dev? Guess we could revert the dev server? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up at this point. Okay, no migrations to revert. RM-RF star. Oh my god, thank you so much, Alex. Alex just subscribed. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Oh, you guys, thank you. Not only you're trying out my software, you're subscribing on Twitch. That's so nice, man. That's so nice. Bruce Leaf says no more errors. Yeah, I hope not. So we ran the migrations. That's fine. Let's start up the server. Halleck says, well, I can't do crap at work. I can't deploy my app on fly. Oh man, you sound stuck. A job is already registered with key. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on. Let's refresh this. Okay, so this is an actual error. Okay. Bruce Leaf says, if someone follows before the end of stream, I will gift you a sub. Well, that's awfully generous. That's nice of you, dude. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, so this is, I think we can make this a content, and that'll make it happy. Not find content. Alex says, I can't even get onto the online fly CLI. Wow, that's very exciting Wi-Fi you have. Arrays are not permitted? What? What? Oh, maybe I need to say something like users, go to users. And let's try taking this content thing off. Alex asks, what book did you decide on from Codico? I have not picked one out yet. I've been working. I'm not even sure I got the email. I guess for those who are not aware, oh, we're not showing any users. Well, I don't have any users either. For those of you who are not aware, Codico has a, let me find the link. You can get a free book from Codico. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Where was it? Is this it? Copy. Yeah, so this is not a very shareable. I'll put it in the chat, but this is a very long link. You get a free book of your choice if you answer some questions. It was pretty short. It's about 20 questions. They were all multiple choice. So if you wanted to, I guess you could just like click the first option for each one, just to get a free book from them. And then they send you email, and I have not picked out a book yet. So yeah, let's show some stuff in the view. So with Pico, do I use table? See, I guess I know how to do all this stuff with Tailwind, but not with these new things. How do I say only a few cards? I am a card. Okay, that's cool. Bruce Leaf says they picked such a weird name for the new name. Yeah, it's definitely weird. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It's like, is it Codico? Codeco? I don't know. Accordions. How do I do like a table? Oh, here we go, table. Oh, just do a table. Okay. What's this scope equals column though? Oh, I see. It's been a while since I did that kind of HTML. Halleck says, it's interesting they rebranded, to be honest. Ray Wenderleek was such a known name. Yeah, it'd be like Papa John's rebranding to Pizza Co. or something. Or who else is famous pizza? Skinny Vinny, PJ's Pizza, Joe's Pizza. Imagine Joe's Pizza rebranding to be Pizza Co. Oh, man. I cracked myself up. Bruce Lee pronounces it Code Co. But he doesn't know that's what he read. Not like this. Bruce Lee suggests touching grass. Creekburn says, finally back to the topic at hand. I think you just do a normal table. I have a preference for accordions for list views. Well, let's try that out. It's been a hot moment. I guess this doesn't have the, this doesn't do columns though. This is really nice for getting started. I'm so glad I took your advice and tried this out. I do not see like a table though. I guess I could put a table on the inside. Creekburns says you can add columns in the header or body of an accordion. The way I do it is put very limited data in the header, then expand to show more data options. Yeah, I guess if we kind of reimagine this to be like the admin home view, then yeah, users being an accordion would be perfect. So then where does the content go? It's just anything that's not in the summary, it looks like. Oh, and I guess you can start it as open. Okay, that's pretty cool. Halleck says, is it the Ray Wenderleek books that you can share with friends? I don't remember. So then I think we can put a table on the inside, and I'm going to swap back to their table documentation and copy, paste, modify. So we'll do that, we'll do that. And then something seems a little off. I need to close T body. I see. Guess let's start with just a few columns. Then here we can loop through. I kind of forget how the for loop looks. I just looked it up earlier today, but I know it's right here. Overview, loops. Okay, so it's on the inside. I guess we're doing just 3 for now. So we'll say user dot first name, last name, and registration method. And I will spell it correctly. Oh, and of course I need an end for. Well, that is just lovely, isn't it? It would be really nice to have some users to show in here, wouldn't it? Let's see, I think I want to tab this over, and then I want to tab. Oh, I see. That's just extra. Okay. I confused myself. There we go. Show users in admin panel. Oh, and I guess if I'm going to commit, I should uncomment the this bit. So to get users, we need to sign in. I could try signing in through the iPhone app, or we could do the web version, which is what I would be excited about. This is going to be a bit of documentation reading because I actually haven't really done sign in with Apple on the web. Yeah, I guess we'll just call it login for now. And let's copy some pasta. And then let's see, let's look at the documentation. Let's go to other, and let's go to sign in with Apple. So I guess we can get some JavaScript. I keep trying to command tab when I'm reading documentation inside of Xcode. And then it wants a bunch of this stuff. Sure, let's just send that on in. We also have this div here. Okay, well, I guess one thing at a time. Bruce Leaf asks Creekburn, what languages do you normally code with? Oh yeah, great question. So I guess I'll put these here. Although I guess we're supposed to generate these things, huh? Freakburn says, current job has Node, Ruby, and Terraform. I like Node the best. Right on. I'm a huge fan of Terraform. I think they did a really good job with that. So these might have to come in from this login bit. So perhaps I should have like additional headers, I guess. Because these all need to be coming in from the login controller. Let's close the other tabs. Web controller. That's so generic. Let's call it login. Creekburn says, yeah, my preferred Kubernetes setup is Terraform to Helm to Kate stuff. That's it's very, very close to what I have set up. I started doing Kubernetes before Helm became, I guess, version 3. That was when you didn't need to install it on your cluster anymore. So it was still at version 2 at the time. So I wrote my own stuff to generate my own templates. In Swift, of course. Infrastructure. Here's all my templates for all the stuff I'm running. And then the thing I do to generate them is it's not the prettiest code. It just it does what it needs to. And I also generate my ingress using the same app routes that I use for navigation in my iOS app. So I think that's pretty cool. One of the benefits of sharing code across backend and iOS and all that. Oh, this is supposed to take a request. Oh, right. Okay, so it's supposed to return a view. So this will be request.view.render. And for now, we'll say login/login. Not sure about how I'm organizing these right now. I feel like login might need to change its name once again, but that's okay for now. And we have a bunch of at least Apple parameters that we need to expose to our template here. So I guess we need the Apple sign-in client ID. the Apple sign in scope. And yeah, I suppose we can camel case these. And these will just be strings, of course. Apple ID sign in state. And a nonsense word. Yeah, I know you're missing some parameters, but I don't know what those are going to be yet. I guess at least some of these will come from our environment variables. I guess this is supposed to be the full URL, and even if I use something like, what was I using before? ngrok. I guess I'll have to expose my current URL in my .n file so that I can provide it here. And let's see, I think my client ID I have in my nvars. No? Let's take a peek. Yeah, I wonder if I should, oh, that's the key ID. Team ID, it might be the team ID. Let's try that. And then the scope, let's just look at the documentation, I suppose. Oh, let's also copy in this button. Into our view. Looks like they stuck it right before the script tag. Creekburn says state and not should be unique per request. Yep, absolutely. I'll probably want to generate something here. I'm going to do figure out what scope is supposed to be first. Oh, it doesn't have to be meta tags. It can be in a JavaScript API. This looks so much nicer. Why did they show this one first? Okay, well, anyway, code handle authentication response. Oh, so that's doing like JavaScript. Didn't have to listen for some stuff. That means like doing like React or something. I don't know about that quite yet. So they don't show the what the scope was supposed to be. Creekburn says code versus token is about which flow you're using. ID token is to press that ID token JWT. I actually don't see that here. But I guess here's what we have for scope. This kind of reminds me of what we put in on the iOS side. Let's take a look. The authorization code flow, the scope would be code ID token. For implicit flow, use scope instead of token instead of code. Let's see. Yeah, I guess this is all stuff we did in the iOS land. Can I also get the ID token here? I want everything. At least to get started. Now it's going to take forever to build, of course. And while that is doing that, let's look at our code on iOS and see what this was the microservice. Here's the iOS sample. I should probably just open this up on my own computer instead of looking through the web version. Where is the login controller? And where do we set the scopes? We asked for full name and email. But we still get an ID token back. I wonder if it's different on the web, or there's more options on the web. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and run that and show that everything showed up in the HTML. Where do we even set this to? Was this login? Let's see. Let's check the routes. Yeah, get login. Oh, I'm not compiling. That's what's wrong. And for some reason, Xcode does not show the build error sometimes. You can see it was completely blank. Briefly asks Creekburn, sorry, do you have a GitHub account? Do you do open source at all? That's another great question. Why is it going to www.127? That's silliness, Apple. Oh, did I copy paste something wrong? Let's look at the yes, I am missing an end export. Hey, we have our sign in with Apple here. And it looks like Pico is trying to do something with the button. Let's see, so what happened? Sign up not completed. Well, I guess I didn't send a redirect URI or anything. JavaScript login work in progress. So it is 5 p.m. and I do need to turn into a pumpkin right on the dot on Wednesdays. So I guess we could talk about what we did so far. Today we checked out PicoCSS. That was very nice. Thank you again, Creekburn, for suggesting that. We got an admin view to show users up and running, guarded by only admin users. And we're able to do that because we added a required role to the FQAuth middleware to ensure that only certain roles can access it. Creekburn says, my GitHub is pretty awful. I have big dreams on there, though. I can't muster the will to code after a day at work. I think I put it on my Twitch profile. Oh, right on. Bruce Leaf says, I have an unhealthy obsession with coding open source software after work. It's just a hobby for me at this point. Right on. Let's see. So if you want to find out more about my open source projects, they're on my website, FQAuthdeveloper.com. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. You can also download my apps up on the application store. And let's see, I think my schedule is up on here. Yeah, it should be my pinned post on Mastodon. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, dude. It was great having you around, and thank you again for the suggestion. Yeah, so 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. NYC time every weekday. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wow, gifted sub right at the end. Thank you, dude. And welcome to the community, Creekburn. If you sync your Twitch account with your Discord account, you'll get access to the subscriber-only channels in the Discord. Oh, and that brings us up to 193 out of 200. Do something tonight that an AI could never do. Desire something. Good night.